Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebrate Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa, Kwanzaa, celebrate Kwanzaa.
Why don't you celebrate, celebrate, celebrate Kwanzaa?
Celebrate, celebrate, celebrate Kwanzaa.
Habarigani.
Yeah.
Welcome to the New Orleans Coalition, Kwanzaa Coalition, Virtual Celebration 2020. In keeping with the COVID-19 restrictions, we are practicing social distancing, and we're bringing Kwanzaa right to you in your home. Today, we're celebrating the fifth principle of Kwanzaa, which is Nia, which is purpose. In keeping with the festivities of the event, we always begin by lighting the kinara, which holds the candles. As you can see, the color scheme is black, red, and green. Black is for the
People,
red is for the
love,
and green is for the
land.
free the land. So we always start at the beginning by lighting the black candle in the middle. That candle represents the first principle, which is umoja, which is unity, followed by the red candle, and you alternate each night. Kujichagulia, third night Ujima, fourth night Ujama, fifth night Nia. Purpose. As we take the time to come together to focus on these 5 principles, we also pause to bring the ancestors into the room. Using the unity cup, we will now pour libation. And this libation can take the form of a prayer or whatever your spiritual reference is. The important thing is that you remember to invite the ancestors and bring them into the room. At this moment, we are going to lift up and elevate the names of those ancestors who have gone on before us, who have made a point and a mark in this community. We call their names and we say Ashe. Dutch Moriah, Millie Charles, and you can call the names out as well.
Aretha Castle Hill,
Ashe,
Georgetta Warren,
Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. And all
Sister
those known and unknown to us, because we recognize that there are many people who have fought and died for this community whose names have not been recorded in history. And we say Ashe.
Ashe. Kwanzaa, like all other celebrations, has its symbols. We begin with the first symbol of Kwanzaa, which is the mkeka, which is the straw mat. It represents the foundation for which all else rests. Then we have our kinara, which is our candle holder. It represents our ancestors or our parent stock. Next we have the Meshuva Saba, which are the 7 principles, the 7 candles that represent the 7 principles. We have the Kikombe Cha Umoja, which is a unity cup used to pour libations. We have the Vabunzi or the Mahindi, which are the ears of corn. Each ear of corn represents a child in the household. If there is no children in the household, you will still have 1 ear of corn, which represents the potential for regeneration, because each kernel on the corn represents a seed. Then we have our mazao, which are our crops, our fruits and our vegetables, which represents the fruits of our labor or the harvest, because Kwanzaa is a harvest festival. Then we have our zawadi, which are the gifts. The gifts are suggested to be creative, books, educational materials, even services, which are given to children, not just because, but for commitments met in doing good in school or in their community. So we invite you to come together to celebrate Kwanzaa.
What does walking in your purpose mean to me? Well, walking in purpose is finding what makes what gives you joy, what you cannot live without. It could be you being a seamstress. It can be you being a photographer. It can be you being a musician. So it's finding something that you have a natural passion and love for and executing it in excellence.
Walking in my purpose looks like educating students about the arts of Africa. Walking in my purpose looks like educating folks on Egyptology, or if you want to take the Eurocentricity out of it, Kemetology, right? Walking in my purpose looks like being a part of community organizations such as this one, leading groups, being able to foster any type of positive community outreach, and just being a great member of this community and one day a future ancestor to push it forward.
Thank you. So, walking in your purpose for me is a combination of being in touch with the things that make you happy, the things that bring you joy in life, and incorporating that into your daily practices. So, myself, I've celebrated Kwanzaa my entire life, and I've been blessed to incorporate that in my profession. So as an African American resource collection librarian, I am the gatekeeper to history, to resources, and to culture. So that incorporates all of my pieces, me as a priest of Ifa or Lukumi, me as a librarian, me as a dancer. You know, I studied African culture and dance all of my life. So everything that I do speaks to my purpose and speaks to those things that God has given me.
I think it begins knowing what your spiritual destiny is. I think it's very important for you to have identified, why are you on this earth? What have you come to accomplish? And it's not something that you stumble upon. The revelation comes, and when you know it, you know it. And that's the reason why when people look at your life, it looks like you're always busy doing a whole bunch of things, but you're really manifesting your destiny. And the strange thing about that is the Creator and the ancestors, they give you the energy to do it. Because if you look at it on paper, you'd be like, how am I doing all of this stuff? You know, so for me, it's about being committed to that on a daily basis. And that is a hard thing to do, because so many things in life come and it can throw you off your path. But you got to be focused as to what you came to accomplish. And then when you're dealing with that, you have to value. That's why I'll give thanks for the pandemic. I'm not glad people died, but I give thanks for the pandemic because it allowed us to slow down. You have to slow down and focus on what's really important. And when you're busy rolling in life, you don't get a chance to do that. So I'm making it a point to purposely value every moment. That's why when I hear of someone who has transitioned, I'm saddened by it, but it's a reminder for me to value this moment I have on earth, to make the mark that I am destined, not to get acclimates, to do what the Creator has destined me to do. And that's what it means, walking in my purpose every day.
For me, when I think of walking in my purpose, I think of when in African traditions, when a name is given to a child, it is given to that child to manifest that purpose. So it means something. Your name means something. And that is what your parents and the community have saw in your spirit as a child to give you that name. And when I think of my walking in my purpose, my name is Vera. It means truth. And I understand now, as the owner of Community Book Center, that it has been my responsibility and it has been my purpose to make sure that the contributions of African people throughout civilization are acknowledged and told the truth about the contributions that we've made, and to dispel any myths about who we really are. So walking in my purpose is making sure that our history and our culture is on point.
Ashe. And to build on that, I definitely can relate to the name and ceremonies. As you know, my name, Shaddai, means Almighty. It's Hebrew for Almighty, so I was tagged with a great responsibility from birth. So let's move to the next question. Let's start with Mama Setawa. What should be the collective purpose of a community, our community in particular?
That's one of probably the biggest challenges we have as a community, because I think people are in a daily struggle about how to balance the needs they have for their individual self versus the needs for the community. I don't think we realize that when you put the needs of the community first, and your needs will be met as well, right? A lot of times that seems like your stuff is on the back burner, but I believe that until we collectively can come together to focus on the things that's going to help us come out of this situation. When I say this situation, I'm not talking about the pandemic. We've been struggling for survival since I'm not going to say since we came here to America, since the Europeans came here to Louisiana, because black people of color have been here since before Christopher Columbus came. But ever since their domination, they have systematically organized to keep us oppressed, to keep us enslaved. Even when we during segregation, when we said we don't want to be with y'all, we're going to go build our own, they didn't like that. So they tore that up. So it's about us coming together. And I recognize that our people are under a lot of trauma. I get it. We got trauma from being enslaved. We got trauma from fighting that 400, 500 years of oppression. We got internalized racism. We are under a lot of stress, and I get that. So it's very difficult for us to be patient with each other, you know. And I say that to myself as well. When I see my people out there wilding out, I gotta recognize that they don't have all the tools that I have to recognize how important self-evaluation is on a daily basis, so you can know how to correct the behavior to make it better for the next day. So I just would think that as a community, what we should be doing in the community is, number one, support one another more. Practice the Nguza Saba. That's all in there. Umoja, your collective work and responsibility, purpose, all of that. But we have to be patient with one another and support one another. And even though we have this terrible dilemma with police constantly killing our young boys, even after the whole uprising, after the different deaths of the people that died and Black Lives Matter, they screaming and hollering, and the cops is still killing. They still do it. They're not stopping. So while you got that on one end, we still got our own brothers still killing each ours on the other end. It's like we can't catch a break in the middle. So it's up to the ones who woke. You say you woke. It's up to us to hold that balance. We have a responsibility. So I think on the community level, we must do the work. And a lot of times you won't see the work because it's the work that's done underneath. So that's the community response for me that I feel that we need to do. But we got to be patient, because our people will try us. Boy, will they try us. You see them doing all kind of stuff. We just got to be patient with them. Got to love them. Just got to love them.
Thank you for that, Mama Setawa. Mama Shukrani.
I just want to piggyback. I think, you know, the work of community starts with, number one, reteaching that we are a community, to reinforce our connection, because everything around us promotes individualism. And we as a people, we thrive in a community situation historically, because we incorporate all aspects of our community, the elders, the parents, the children. And so that takes me to the next step, which is, as a community, it is our responsibility to protect, to teach, to nurture our children so that they understand, number one, that they are loved within the community, and number two, that we expect them to do something to uplift the community as well. So as we heal each other, we also have to reach, I want to say reach down, but we have to reach out to our children and incorporate them into the circle. So we're teaching our history or reteaching our history, because most of the time our history is mistaught. So, you know, we have to infuse in them their sense of they are connected. And I'm speaking about our children, but I'm also speaking about our community. We are connected to something greater than ourselves. So as we have this responsibility to community, we also have a responsibility to education.
Yes.
So yes.
Thank you.
Amen.
Sister Erica, you want to build on that?
She practically said it. From librarian to that's right. I would definitely say re-education, absolutely, on what community is, what community stands for, and even if people don't think of each other as family, even though they should, a community is still your family, and we are always here for each other, but sometimes people do forget that. Something else I would build on is meeting people where they are and fostering an understanding, because again, going back to Mama and Satuwa, we may have certain tools that other people don't. And so it's up to us to be able to give those tools to them and help them to understand, you know, again, we're a community, we have your back, this is our collective history, and we're here to do better, be better, and make sure that our communities, our families, our babies are given the best possible chance against all the odds that we've faced thus far. Malik?
We have all said some very beautiful things, and everyone is absolutely correct. And I just like to reinforce an African saying, I am, you are because I am, and I am because you are, and that universal of connection, and just reinforcing that we're all connected, and we should all love each other like we love ourselves. And for those people who may have lost the path of how to love themselves, introducing what healing is, whether it be of mind, body, or spirit, introduce that we can heal from any hurt, past, or trauma. So introducing that as a community, that sometimes we have to heal first in order to grow. So, yes.
I'm just simply will say it's about being intentional and intentionality. Just being about what it is you're supposed to be about, not worrying about what someone else is or isn't doing. If everyone takes responsibility for themselves and remain on their purpose and on their path, then we'll all meet up in the same place.
Every day that we wake up is a day of purpose and redemption. Through the pain, anger, and anxiety, there's a silver lining we forget to mention. We could laugh, cry, dance, or fight, but the distractions only ever do us a disservice. So every day we ask the Most High to keep us on our purpose. Our gifts, talents, and religion are there to serve us if we stand on our purpose. The ancestors guide us and won't desert us if we stand on our purpose. They could lie and try to curse us, but still we gonna stand on our purpose. We could walk the narrow halls of the world and make it out to the end, and they'll still find a flaw in how we walk. We could speak life into their dying kin, and they'll still find a flaw in how we talk. Our compassion, forgiveness, and understanding, they don't deserve us, but we stand on our purpose. We honor those who birthed us when we stand on our purpose. Selling our souls and bowing down only do us a disservice, so we must stand on our purpose. There's a reason why we're still here. There's a reason why we haven't yet gone extinct. There's a solution to our problems, and it might be more obvious than we think. You see, when our voices turn to violence, because apparently no one heard us, just know we standing on our purpose. No man, law, or agenda can hurt us when we stand on our purpose. And as we rise to the surface, we must stand on our purpose. Stand on our purpose. As we rise to the surface, we must stand in our purpose. Peace. Thank you.
Harambe!
Harambe, 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 Harambe.
Let's pull together.
I see.
So many MCs focusing on black people extermination. We keep it balanced with that knowledge of self-determination.